Edinburgh Regional Computing Centre is a major service department of this university. As Director, I see our primary role as the provision of effective and up-to-date computing services to both the university and to the various research institutes around Edinburgh. My staff of approximately 170 people provide a variety of services to our user population of several thousand. Some are concerned with managing and operating large computers. One of these is used by our colleagues in the universities of Glasgow and Strathclyde, and another is used by the Science and Engineering Research Council as a national facility. Others of my staff provide advice, consultancy and training, both in the use of our large computers and in the small computers in use in departments, and the microcomputers and microprocessors that are now developing generally in the university. An important part of our work is the provision of a large communication network to link our computers with the hundreds of terminals that our users now use to talk to the various machines. These networks are interlinked with those that exist nationally and internationally, so a user in Edinburgh can expect to talk to other computers on a worldwide basis. Since its creation, the Centre has had a major involvement in research and development, so that our services are being constantly improved and the benefits of that research are passed across to industry and other universities. In this videotape, you will see the equipment we operate and the services we provide.
To many of you, I expect the words computing centre will conjure up pictures of lights flashing and reels of tape spinning. While such things do happen in our computer rooms, this is only a very small part of what is involved in providing a computing service.
The University of Edinburgh is housed in buildings which are scattered widely, from Bush Estate in the south to the Western General Hospital in the north. Since the people who use our services work in many of these buildings, one of our main concerns is providing them with convenient access to our computers.
Some of our users are so far from our central facilities that they have to rely on a small fleet of vans. These run a daily collection and delivery service throughout Edinburgh.
Other users work near enough to one of the main buildings to collect their own work. Here we see one of the operators sorting the output from one of our high-speed printers. Once the printouts have been sorted into the correct pigeonholes, the users are then able to come and collect them at any time.
Most of our users access our computers by using interactive terminals. There are two types. Both have typewriter-like keyboards with which the user can communicate directly with the computer. On some terminals, the text is displayed on a screen like a television, and with others, it is printed on paper.
We provide terminals of both types in our buildings for use by any of our users. Many more are installed in user departments, often in the user's own office.
This method of working, where many people use a computer from different locations, is called multi-access computing. The development of this type of computing has been a speciality of our computing centre since it was established in 1965.
This is one of our two main computers. Together they provide computing facilities for 150 people at the same time. These people use the computers for very varied activities. It is important to realize that computers are no longer just used in mathematics and science. Our users come from most of the faculties and departments of the university.
All of our users store information, such as the results of an experiment or the text of a thesis. The disk unit being loaded here can hold many million separate pieces of information, all of which can be readily accessed.
Magnetic tape is used for long-term storage of information, or information which is only needed occasionally. Some of the tapes here contain data which was collected 10 years ago. The nature of some research, for example research on the growth of trees, is only made possible by the analysis of data gathered over such periods.
Listings of such data and other output are often produced on printers. such as this, which is installed throughout the main university buildings and departments.
In some cases, a graphical form of output may be required. This can be produced on one of our special output devices, such as this graph plotter.
Sometimes the saying, "one picture is worth 1,000 words," applies. Between our main computers, the output printers and plotters, and the interactive terminals, there is a complex network of connections. External wiring between buildings is provided by British Telecom, for whom the centre is a major customer.
Our engineering support group is responsible for liaison with British Telecom and other contractors who install the cables within our buildings.
This group also design and build some of the equipment we use to connect computers together. This is an area where we are in the forefront of development, and because of this, we often require equipment which is not yet available from manufacturers.
Communications networks develop faults, and resolving them presents special problems for our staff. This is particularly so when the equipment involved is installed in buildings separated by several miles.
Oh, Tom, can you give me a status check on Bridge 1, Channel 1, please? Have you got a receiver and a transmitter?
Behind the scenes at the computing centre, there is an important room in which is installed the equipment which maintains a suitable environment for our large computers. The air has to be cleaned and dried and maintained at a strictly controlled temperature. Fortunately, these conditions suit the human operators too.
Although most of the university's computing is carried out on our main computers, there is an increasing number of computers such as this one which are installed in other departments. We provide assistance with selecting and operating such computers and in connecting them to the centre's communications network.
Attaching other departments' computers to our network means that users can access their own departmental computer using the same interactive terminal as they use to access our machines.
An important recent development in computing has been the microcomputer. Already more than 100 of these are installed in the university departments. Our main role is in providing advice and consultancy to potential and current users.
Our microcomputer support unit staff devote a lot of effort to keeping up to date with developments in this fast-moving field. By this means, they can give timely advice to intending purchasers and so help them avoid the many pitfalls that they are likely to encounter.
A related development is the use of microcomputers in the administrative work of the university. The computer being used here is sometimes called a word processor. However, the computers now being introduced can do so much more that they are more aptly termed office systems. This equipment has been purchased by the Arts Faculty Office on the advice of our staff as a pilot installation. This followed an extensive study of the requirements of this particular faculty office.
The word processing function is used to simplify the production of papers, letters, and other documents that are a necessary part of the business of a large faculty. Another function is the ability to send electronic mail messages between offices across our computing network. Some of our staff are developing programs for this new personal computer called the Ercc. This is a powerful computer which is likely to be used in large numbers in the scientific research community in this country over the next few years.
We also provide documentation and advice to our existing users. There are several thousand of them, and most regard the computer as a useful tool to help them with their main job of teaching or research.
We provide courses on a variety of topics related to our services.
The computer is performed in this case by operating a small hexadecimal keyboard with just a dozen or so keys on it. In the case of this microcomputer over here, we have a standard typewriter type keyboard with standard QWERTY op on the top line and the space bar and so on at the bottom.
And when things go wrong, our users can consult one of our advisors.
Oh, can I help you?
Yes, I'm having a problem with my SPSS program.
SPSS.
Output just here, output exceeded.
Right.
I've got
And
a
this
get
is the
file
command.
and a save file.
Right, output exceeded. Have you got the actual listing?
And I've got a listing programs here.
Right.
Some of our services are used by the Royal Dick Veterinary School, who operate a teaching unit at which students gain experience of small animal practice. The clinical records accumulated by the unit are potentially of great use for veterinary research. However, in 10,000 clinical records, there may be only 2 or 3 which have the features that the researcher is interested in.
To make it easy to locate such cases, Ercc has implemented a database in which are stored summaries of clinical records which have been collected over the last 5 years. For instance, if a researcher wanted to find certain records, he only has to ask the computer.
In response, summaries of the relevant cases are displayed at the terminal. If he wishes to investigate cases further, their reference numbers will direct him to written case notes.
Looking further afield, our computers are connected to those in the 2 universities in Glasgow. Staff and students in those 2 universities share one of our main computers with users in this university.
It is also now becoming quite straightforward to gain access to computers elsewhere in the United Kingdom. This has great potential for collaborative research between workers in different institutions. This network is also growing to give our users access to computers in the United States, Europe, and the rest of the world.
This new development is a logical extension to the multi-access style of computing with which we in the Edinburgh Regional Computing Centre have been involved since 1965.